Everybody, SSA Game of the Week back live out in Bulger Park in Melrose Park, Illinois. Big tilt between Hex and Signature. Signature will be the home team. They won the toss. And Signature in first place in this league, doing very well. And of course, Hex is in first place out in Forest Park. So just depends on what league you're looking at, and that's just a product of modern day softball, with the fact that we have teams always having issues getting guys out there in the week, and this should be a pretty good one. Al Rice not here currently, and again, this is a league where they only have 4 teams play on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so one team always ends up being covered twice, and with Signature going to be facing Flashback tonight, they get the honor of being on the stream twice. So what you're about to see for you newbies is Chicago-style 16-inch softball. 60-foot bases, you can lead off, but you can't steal. 38 feet from rubber to the point of home plate, 6'12" on the arc. Because we're playing no glove, the pitcher gets a drag step, 1 step left, right, or back. 2 fakes or hesitation. 3rd arm action must be to deliver the ball home. A throw or a fake to a base is considered one of your fakes or hesitations. 6'12" on the arc. We also use heavy bats. They can weigh up to 38 ounces, 2 1/4 on the barrel, and 34 inches long. And this is a 16-inch clincher. It is not, repeat, not a mush ball. Comes out of the box pretty firm and will maintain its consistency. The ball's currently made in Costa Rica. First year they had them, they weren't very good, but they've straightened that out in the 5-6 years since, and the ball's pretty good now. And no fences here. It's going to be all you can get. An okay amount of foul territory. They do play the fence down. You can see that yellow topping to the fence to stop guys from getting caught up on the fencing. And we got a little bit of a cross breeze blowing in from left field. And leading off, the guy I called the straw, Curtis Ostrom, because he stirs the drink. So we're underway here in Melrose Park. A little breezy, was warm all day, but temperatures dropped, a little overcast. And Curtis swings and he dumps a base hit to lead the game off. That's going to be a stand-up double, as Curtis can still scoot. Terrific defensive left fielder leads off the game with a little cut double down the left field line.
Nobody, good ball.
And that's going to bring up Mark Holstein. Mark played with the Bats, longtime 45 guy, kind of finishing up his career here with Hex. And Mark tries to turn and burn, and that's going to blow out of play, as Marco chased it, but he couldn't get to it. Of course, Mark at one point in time was one of the best power hitters in 16-inch softball. Probably the best of his generation. He's a little too young, I still think. But he'll be in the Hall of Fame, no problem, at some point. And there's a hard line drive, getting a great read. Curtis is going to tag and go to third. Great catch there by the second baseman, Mark Menizzi. We'll see it here on the replay. Hard line drive, great read on it. Got a little handcuff, and that little kind of stumble allows Curtis to get into third base. So nice defensive play right out of the gate here for Signature, and they got a pretty good infield.
Here we go, Donnie. Let's go, babe. Here we go. Here we go.
Now we'll bring up Rob Scahill. Of course, this is a retooled Hex team. Brought over a few guys from Sauce, and there's a little roller. First run of the game will score 1-0 Hex.
I can throw one bad to all you guys.
And the Sauce kids have fit right in.
Hey, too good. First again, Mike.
And here comes Mike Greco, the first baseman. So Heck still alive in that North-South tournament. They're waiting on flashback. The last 2 teams in the winter bracket, 6 teams left out there. 45s were playing the Pharaohs, and Moneyline, I believe, was playing BTA when the rains came. Danny Atkins working hard trying to figure out a weekend to make that up. So here's Greco now, 2 outs, 1 run in. Top of the first, just underway. Glad you could join us. Again, we'll have flashback signature 15 minutes, maybe 20 after this on the other diamond, so we'll follow signature down there. And there's a shot at the other way. So Mike Greco keeps the inning alive. And it's going to bring up Nick Casanos. Hex, in order to get to that winter bracket championship game, they beat the 45s 12-4 in a game in which Nick hit a 2-run homer and a 3-run homer.
Let's go, Donnie.
He played a spectacular short center this past Sunday. Again, he's one of those Sauce kids that came over here. And you never know how that's going to work. Sauce was a pretty solid A team. And there's a little roller, and I guess the Maluk lives as he grounds out to end the top of the first. So 1-0, signature coming to bat. And signature had it going last night. They fell way behind BTA. And I think at one point BTA might have been up 5-6 runs in that ball game. Looked like they were going to win the game. They were up 12-10 late, or 12-9 late. And then they just unloaded in the 6th inning and ended up cruising in for the win. And then in the nightcap, I should say in the first game, signature played the 45s, and the 45s were up, I want to say they were up 8 or 9 runs in that game, and signature came back and erased that. So after a disappointing North-South tournament, signature went 1-2, and they won the first major event of the summer, the Westchester Tournament of Champions, which we all refer to as the TOC. And they looked fantastic that weekend, but in the North-South they struggled, lost to Iron.
Thanks, Sal. Sorry about that.
In a slugfest, 14-11. And then they lost to the Fat Kids in a slugfest. I want to say that was 18-17, something crazy like that.
Watch up the middle.
That's it, Danny.
And the interesting thing, that young Iron team is coming fast. And here's Danny Marston, ground ball to Casano. And Nick makes the play for out number 1.
Nice play, Nick.
So Nick did a good job there, kept the skirt down, made the play. And they not only beat signature in the North-South, but last night they were up to some more tricks. They surprised flashback 11-5. And then they lost a heartbreaker 9-8 to Hex. So young kids starting to build a little confidence, and
good pitch, good pitch.
It's going to be an interesting team to watch the rest of the year. That is. Joey Carbs on the hill. So that Iron team coming fast, no doubt. And there's a flare the other way. And that's an interesting group. Danny Atkins runs the North-South. And because of the game changer and helping Danny out, I spent a lot of time at the table. And so a lot of those kids were sitting in lawn chairs around the tent. And they are a young team. They all grew up together, won a state baseball title. Couldn't defend it due to COVID. And most of those kids grew up with Danny and his wife Jennifer, kind of as a third set of parents. And there's a little flare, so Mark Manizzi, first signature hit of the day, as he dumps a hit out into short left center field. So Donnie Sullivan playing left field today.
Hey, one out. Make a play here. Make sure to one.
Brandon Bartleman in center.
Okay.
Up 13. No.
And Mikey Oliver in right for Hex tonight. Got Noel Rice right now. Don't know if he'll make it to the second game.
Oh, cards, here we go.
And here's Spencer Mahoney. He leans on it, airmails it over Oliver. That's going to roll all the way to the other retention fence. 2-run bomb for Spencer Mahoney. Spencer hit a couple of bombs last night. And just like that, 2-1. That ball was smoked. Spencer getting himself into a good rhythm, a good groove, and
It's pick your poison with him. What do you
you
give
know,
up a
and I
single
think,
or double, or do you give up
and I think sometimes with Spencer, anytime you get below the belt low on him,
Hop cards,
he's going to usually put a real good swing on it. He got a little bit of an uppercut. And I think as a pitcher, you got to figure out how to get him to raise his hands, because that's just a do not disturb zone. And here's Anthony
Deal with
Scarlatta.
right away.
And when these two guys back to back,
Got it, baby.
it's kind of a pick your poison. Even if you want to walk Spencer, Scar has won a batting title at a major national championship tournament. And there's a rocket. Kimmer stays with it. And they get the second out.
Good hands, Kimmer. Good hands.
And Scar hit a bomb last night in Forest Park, too. So, Signature got a really nice lineup. They have what I refer to as the big boy offense. And Flashback, despite not having their whole teams out, they're right in that category. And I was looking at the standings for that Forest Park League, and Flashback was up 35 runs in the run differential. And at that time they were 5-1.
Good pitch, Joe. Good
Means
pitch.
their average win margin has been 7 out there. That's a big run differential for only 6 games played.
Two strikes. Pitch it.
So here's Dave Navarro now, 2 outs, nobody on. And there's a high fly ball. Oliver is there. You might be able to see that flag in the background. As the wind's kind of shifted and it is blowing out toward right field. Might be pushing a little bit toward the line, but it is howling out. So you would think anything center field to the right field line is going to get a little extra push to it. We had an interesting situation in that north-south when the 45s were playing Hex. Somewhere around the bottom of the 4th, 5th inning, the wind changed directions. It went from blowing out to left to blowing out to right. Kind of a precursor to the rain we had. And Mike Marola struggled a little bit when the wind got shifted, but of course, when you're an outfielder and somebody juices one up in the air, there isn't much you can do. So Mikey Oliver going to lead off here, 2-1, top of the second.
Good eye.
Well, Russ, and Mikey Oliver, a little slow roller, little pitch and catch for out number one. Well, it's Curtis is in his 30s now, and he's got a lot of mileage on him. Played a lot of softball through his career, primarily with Smackout until he came here. And I think a lot of outfielders, when they start getting into their mid-30 range, want to get out of the infield, but he's still a elite left fielder. Here's Nick Kimmer. And sometimes you got to do what the team needs you, because elite left fielders don't fall off the trees. And there's a little ground ball to Mahoney, and you don't see that often there, as the ball did make it on the fly. I think maybe Scar thought it was going to short hop him. We saw that a little bit yesterday. Spencer's got a hose, but sometimes on the routine grounder, he'll try to feather it over there and gets himself into a little bit of trouble. So here's Donnie Sullivan, one out base runner, with young Brandon Bartleman on deck. And of course, Hex is lucky because this Brandon's still learning how to hit. And Sullivan, a little ground ball. Mahoney to Haas, double play. So that was spun around the horn nicely there by Signature. And Signature, good defensive team. And you can see Haas with the good flip around the infield. So we head to the bottom of the second, and Donnie Sullivan can run, but hit that ball a little too hard right at the shortstop. Made it a little too easy there. So they actually do have Curtis playing the infield. He's at second base tonight. And my guess is that might be a product of coming off of a long weekend, trying to save his legs a little bit. But having a lot of good outfielders is a luxury. A lot of teams can't do that. When Al Rice is here, he'll play a lot of right field as well. So the man they call G5, Greg Fleming, coming up. And Greg's been scalding the ball. And he's been shown a little more power this year. Continues his improvement every day in the outfield. Greg already well above average outfielder, and getting better by the minute. And I like Greg's attitude because he wants to get better. He wants to be one of the best. And you can't teach that. A kid either has that or he doesn't. And he scalds a base hit, so he stays hot. Sullivan gets to it, and he'll hold Greg to a hard single up the alley. So leadoff man on for Chris Pikulis. And Chris hit one last night that was well over 300 feet in Forest Park. That actually put Signature up. It was a 3-run bomb. He re-entered to hit for one of the pitchers. I don't know if it was Q or Donnie, and he just lost it. So when you got a guy like this hitting 7th in your lineup, you know you're in good shape. And there's the brain there, Sal Malazzo. And there's a little roller, Casanos, and they won't be able to turn it. Good job by Curtis. He made sure that Nick Casanos knew he was coming. So they do get the lead runner. puts pickup, and now they'll courtesy run Dave Navarro. Brings up Brian Haas. And Brian, a big kid, he's been playing a real good short center. You're not used to seeing kids. We've had tall short centers in the past,
Pop cards. Here we go.
but you don't normally see him as tall and thick as he is, but he does a great job. And Nick Casanos, I don't know if he was at the bag there. Let's take a look at that. Nick Kimmer went to throw it to the bag, and I don't know if Nick was quite on the base or not.
Go, Marco.
Yeah, it looked like he was still kind of moving, trying to get to the base. So that's a break here for Signature. And Marco pumps it, and nice catch by Mike Oliver. Had to go down to a knee.
Nice play, Mike. Nice catch.
The ball looked like it was maybe going to carry a little bit. Got a little top hand on it in that cross breeze, and it just fell off the table.
Right there.
So it brings up the pitcher, Don Rollins. Of course, on the roster, they list him as
Hey,
Donald.
Dad, make the easy one. Let's go. Talk it, Phil.
So here we go. Well, I wouldn't call it gusty, Amalia. I just think it's a fairly, depends on where you're at in the park. On the third base side here in the background, they have like a warehouse for a car dealership. And the flags in the front of the warehouse are blowing hard
Joe. Here we
to
go.
what would be the right field line. But when you look by the building, the flag is limp. And there's a high fly ball. That's going to be foul. So, again, that'll happen sometimes at field level. And that's why I always tell the kids, check the top of the trees. And the top of the trees are moving. A lot of little ways as a player that you can gain an advantage. And if you're a young outfielder, you got to check the wind every inning. Because here in Chicago, we get crazy patterns. And we're in that time of the day here, is even though it's overcast, the sun hasn't set yet. So we do get a lot of wind this time of the day. It'll probably calm down as we get closer to, you would hope, 8 o'clock. And there's a little roller. Curtis makes the play, and that'll end it. So a little mini threat. They don't get nothing. And we'll head to the top of the third inning, still 2-1. Signature. So I would assume light's finally starting to take a little bit more of an effect. Let's see if I can't change the contrast and maybe just lighten up this picture a little bit. So young Brandon Bartleman going to lead off, a young player Heck's trying to bring along. And then it'll be Joe Carbs on the top of the Heck's lineup. If you're a Signature fan, they will have their top in the bottom of this inning.
Donnie, we're getting over.
Drive, preset. Let's go. Let's go.
And Brandon is a good-looking player. He can definitely go get it in the outfield. So the only question is, how long will it take him to get the other half of his game together and consistent? And he's very fast and left-handed, so as a manager with these young kids, you never want to see them pop it up.
Yes.
So here's Joey Carbs.
Okay.
That's not you, Joe.
Joey didn't like that. Thought the pitch was a little deep. And of course, pitchers, see, I think that's the wrong approach when he stepped out there. You never want to show a guy up. If I'm Joey Carbs, I'm telling him, hey, cool. Just make sure you give me that one too when I'm out there. And there's a little push shot, and Mahoney one-handed catch as he went to the carpet. Spencer Mahoney robs Joey Carbs of a base hit. Of course, Spencer, about 6'3", 6'4", long arms, just reached out and plucked it before it could hit the grass. And that's a tougher catch than it looks like, because once he caught it, he had to make sure he didn't drop it when his elbow hit the ground. And I saw he kind of looked at his elbow a little bit. And here's Curtis Ostrom, led off the game with the double, scored the first Hex run. So we're seeing some good defense. Saw Mark Menizzi in the first make a nice play on Mark Holstein. And now we see Spencer Mahoney make a great play. And there's a high fly ball, should be caught. Dropped out there by Navarro, and this is going to be a home run. And they're going to send him. Forget about it, folks. So once the ball hit the carpet, it was all over. As Curtis Ostrom, that's that wind coming into play. Navarro thought he had a read on it, and the ball just kind of carried. Next thing you know, he had to kind of throw his hands up and jump. He did shake his hand a little bit. You can see Mark Menizzi went out there not only for the relay, but to check on him. So we're all tied at 2 here as the wind has come into play.
Hey, 2 outs, 2. You're good, Nate. Let's go. You're good.
So here's Mark Holstein. Rob Scahill on deck, and Rob's got a lot of power to right field. We'll see if he tries to turn and burn it all in this game. Or try to drive something to that right center field gap. He's capable of hitting it out there.
On the corner.
And that's why Signature is so tough. They got a lot of guys that are good hitters, but they also got a lot of guys that can really drive the ball. And Mahoney, Scarlata, Pick. So, and of course Greg Fleming. So they got guys that can tee it up, and there's a ground ball up the middle. Haas got the little hip high bounce, and he made the play. So we're going to head to the bottom of the third. New ball game, all tied up. So let's pay some bills. I'd like to thank Sweet Buzz. If you're an adult and you use infused products, check them out. Of course, Nick Drabel, the short center with Moneyline, co-owner of that company. Big supporters of the SSA. Please use them responsibly. And also like to thank Rich Melman, Let Us Entertain You Restaurants, which have been with us since 2011. One of our longest sponsors. Of course, the Zarnick family. And this year, Ziegler, Chrysler Dodge Ram Jeep up in Schaumburg, who's helping to underwrite the Tom X. Zarnick Class A No Glove National Championship tournament coming up at the end of June. If you're an A or a B team, you still have time to jump in. So here's Danny Marston leading off. Little ground ball up the middle, gets past Casanos. So he shoots the box on Joey Carbs. Leadoff man on for Mark Menizzi. Also like to thank Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original handcrafted vodka. Please drink responsibly.
Talking infield here. Here we go.
And of course, all the people that buy the banners. Little ground ball, Nick Kimmer, little bobble stayed with it. They do getting out on the play.
Here we go,
So when you come out to our events and we got the banners up, take note. A lot of good people that support 16-inch softball. You got to support those that support our game. So here's Spencer. Mikey Oliver is deep, but in comparison to where Spencer hit the ball his last time up.
Here we go, Joe. Here we go.
And Spencer's just as capable of hitting the ball a long way the other way. And there he tries to get it up in the air, long run, and it's foul. So that time the wind just kind of pushed it, kept it foul. If it was fair, Mikey might have had an outside chance of getting to it. So Spencer in a nice groove right now.
Deep like this, he's probably going to score. So right in the floor right away. Mark, be ready, Mark.
Good. Gotta go. No.
This is a case if you're the left fielder, you got to be on your toes. And they've 2 strikes now as they're way off of both lines now, trying to squeeze the alleys on them.
22. Good.
It's Brian Sloan not here right now, so full count.
6-9. Here we go. Here we go.
Again, there's only one out here. If you should walk Spencer, it's not the worst thing to happen. And he throws him a meatball and he drives a base hit. 3-2. And Spencer, they're so deep, it's an easy double. Again, with a 3-2 count, open base, even with Scarlatta coming up, that's too easy for a hitter like Spencer.
Nobody.
Good.
And there's a little ground ball, and it hits the base. Mahoney will score
Right here, Star. Right here.
as he just guided it up the middle and drove in a run. So they double up Hex here, 4-2, and it brings up Dave Navarro. Still only one out here.
Here we go, Dave. Here we go, Dave.
And it looked like V in the background there was trying to get his outfield to come down, and Dave goes high.
Too hard.
And that's caught by Oliver.
Hold.
And no tag there.
Go play my game.
That ball kind of came out of his hand funny. It's a good thing there was no tag there.
2 outs, so you're off that way.
Brings up Greg Fleming now. Scarlatta will be running on the swing. And there he grabs a strike.
Talk infield, make the easy one. Let's go.
Go.
And Fleming drives it toward the alley, and no one's getting that ball. Scarlatta will walk home. Fleming, they're going to shut him down at third. A long triple up the alley for Fleming. So he gets his second hit of the ball game, 5-2. Again, Brian Sloan normally would be starting for Hex on the bump, but he's not here right now. And it brings up Pick. And again, anytime you get a windy day, it's a rough day for a pitcher and it's a rough day for the outfield. And there's a little bouncer. Carbs knocks it down, little backhand flip. Might have seen Carbs kind of looking back over his shoulder there to see how much time he had. And he makes the play. So we're going to head now to the top of the 4th.
Just gotta hit a little. Come on.
Signature leading by 3. Again, tomorrow the Joe Lopez, Phil Coronado Memorial Softball Tournament will begin out at Clyde Park out in Cicero, Illinois. And we'll be out there tomorrow. There are only, I believe, 2 time slots, so we'll show you at least 1 game tomorrow, and then it'll resume on Saturday. We'll have a couple of games. That tournament's pretty much going to run all day. I think the first championship game is at somewhere around 6 o'clock with the if game right after. 10 teams out there. Those are all going to be A, B type teams. So here's Rob Scahill now. So we're approaching the halfway point in this ball game. And if you're Hex, you want to try to generate a little offense. You don't want Signature to get real comfortable and start free swinging.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, let's go.
Go, Donnie.
So Rob being extremely patient here. And there, he just off the end of the bat, a little weird spin, but Mark Menezzi, who has turned into one of the better, if not top 2 or 3 second basemen in the game, made that play easily. Brings up Mike Greco.
It doesn't say that it's
And you can always tell what league, what days teams have trouble getting guys out based on their records. You know, Hex underwater here at 2-3, but 6-0 at Forest Park.
That one's on the corner.
I think some of the hitters are not happy because Donnie's been shading a little bit toward third base. So when he throws that outside pitch to a lefty and he says it's on the corner but it lands outside, it becomes difficult for a pitch to cross 2 corners. I think sometimes umpires would do themselves a favor by just saying ball or strike.
What's up, kid? Stay hot for us.
Well, thanks, Joe. Appreciate the kind words, man. That's why we do it. Got to spread the gospel. 6-inning softball, baby. So 2 strikes here. Mike Greco. And he just pokes it and G5 can't get there. And it drops in front for a 2-out base hit. Brings up Nick Casanos. I think that ball dipped. Spencer was kind of doing the thing like he was going to jump and didn't. And like maybe he thought had he jumped, he might have been able to get a hand on it. But I think it was a little too tall even for Spencer. And Casanos slashes it down the line. Foul ball. That would have scored Greco. That ball was foul. Over there you see that little blue structure. That's actually, they got a bocce ball court out there. A lot of Italians here in Melrose. And they have a lot of, when they run their annual tournament, first weekend in August, right after the No Glove, they usually got a bocce ball tournament along with the co-ed and the men's softball. It's a great weekend. And there's a little hard ground ball, and That man Menezes there, that's out number 2.
Come on, Mike, get into one now. Let's go, boy.
So here's Mikey Oliver. Joe Carb's on deck. Of course, Carb's got.
Donnie, Brandon.
Oh, I take it back. Brandon Bartleman on
Mike
deck.
back, scratch.
And Brandon's just kind of sitting there. Usually the on-deck guy will grab a bat and get loose. He's just leaning up against the fence like he's watching his kids at the playground. So big spot here. And that too much oxygen, that'll be caught by Navarro in center. And he dropped another one. I don't know what's going on, and Oliver, who really wasn't running, ends up on second. So Hex gets a gift. I don't know if he's got a bad finger or what's. Okay, so Scars. Oh, that's right. I saw that last night. He dislocated a finger last night, and now they're going to bring Navarro in. And Danny Marston going out to center. And now Matt, it looks like Chris, right, going into third. So Navarro tried to go, but so a little bit of a break there. If you're Hex, you not only got a gift run, but now you got
2 outs, Mike.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I kept looking at Donnie, not Mike. So this is Nick Kimmer. So an opportunity here for Hex maybe to get another run on the board and close to 1. Mike Oliver's caught a break there. He's still able to get to second, but and Nick reaches for one. That ball's carried. He gets Marco over the shoulder. Made the running catch. It looked like he got beat. He just put his head down, caught it like a wide receiver. And that ball certainly carried. I didn't think Nick touched it that good well. But you can see a great catch there by Marco. And that would have tied the ball game up had he not made the catch. So halfway through, 5-3, signature.
Hi, back, Kurt. No, it's just not catching it.
Hunter! Hey, we'll push.
So it's going to be Brian Haas. Marco, I want to say his last name is Kozel. And then the pitcher, Donnie Rollins.
Hey, big hands here, 6'9". Here we go here.
And there's a hard ground ball right to Kimmer.
Get here, get here.
And nice scoop there by Greco. Nick Kimmer, he was kind of on his back leg and just kind of slung it over.
So throw, Kimmer.
And a good job there by Greco.
One dead.
I've seen a lot of first basemen talk about it all the time. A guy will throw a ball in the dirt and they'll give the kid the fisheye.
Corner.
And I always laugh. That's your job description. Bail out your infielders.
Just missed, Joe. Just missed. Here we go, kid.
You might have heard Greco telling him great throw. And I can tell you as a former infielder, when you got a guy with good hands at first, and you don't got to worry about where you throw it, you actually tend to throw the ball better. And Marco, little ground ball to Scahill, and they are making Mike Greco work as Scahill looked like he came over the top, but that ball was kind of like a screwball. I think he broke the wrist in the wrong way there. But Greco dancing all over the place here in this inning made another nice play. So 2 outs. If you're Joey Carbs, you'd like to get out of this inning right here. And there he shoots it the other way. And that ball ends up fair. And that's an example of the wind actually keeping that ball from blowing foul. As he flared it the other way, the ball looked like it was either on the line or just fair down there. And now the courtesy run with Marco, and it brings up Marston. Of course, Marston was the SSA Chicago Summer Series hit leader last year. He had 129 hits in 5 tournaments. Do the math.
Good pitch, 6'9", not a baby.
A lot of guys didn't have 60 at-bats, let alone 129. But
Good pitch.
like we talk about, signature big boy offense.
Make a good throw here, infield. Here we go now. Right pitch.
And there's
2
a strike. So 2 strikes on Marston.
Steal it, Brandon. Steal it.
Now Danny likes to work the center of the field, and he goes to the alley, so they get 1 run back as he just sat back and drove it to drive in the run. So 2 out base hit here, 6-3. Not a bad pitch by Carbs. He got Danny to reach for it, but Danny stayed right down on it. He didn't stand up, swung all the way through it, even though he went down to go get it.
Not a baby. Good pitch. Good
That's what I
pitch.
call sitting through the swing, because a lot of guys, when they reach, they stand up, and when you do that, your back shoulder drops and you end up hitting it up the elevator shaft. And Menizzi, a little roller, and Joey Carbs, a little fumble. Marston, big turn. But he'll get back, so Joey Carbs was in good position, got his hand on the ball. It looked like he peeked up to see where Mark Menizzi was at. Then when he reached down, the ball had rolled away from him. And now here comes big problems with 2 outs. Spencer Mahoney could double up this lead with 1 swing. He's already got a bomb in the game. And there he just rifles a single up the alley. That's going to be at least 2. 1 run is in, 2 runs are in. Mahoney's got the homer and the triple in this ball game, and the double. He needs a single for the cycle.
Hop, Joe. Come on, baby. Let's go.
And here's Scarlatta, 8-3 now. It looked like Hex might have got out of this inning with no damage, and in the meantime, Signature throws up a quick 3.
Corner. Oh, 6. Here we go.
And Scarlatta, and this time Carbs will make the play. So as we head to the top of the 5th, Signature leading by a fin. Again, we are live from Bulger Park in Melrose Park, Illinois, on what is turning out to be a little chillier night than we were anticipating. If you're playing, it's not too bad, but so Donnie Sullivan, I see Kyle has grabbed the bat, Kyle Schluter, and we'll see if he hits for Joe Carbs. I would think he would at this stage of the ball game, trailing by 5, and they haven't hit for Carbs yet. Of course, should you come back at some point. You always got to worry about later on in the ball game, but
Go 30.
and Donnie, a little chopper, Brian Haas, long throw, just gets him at first for the first out. So we'll be out at the tournament this weekend. Always like seeing the younger clubs. They had to move that
Patience, let it come to you. Go get it.
Joe Lopez, Phil Coronado is usually at Harrison Park, but they had to move it this year to Clyde. So a little different setup over there. Another residential park, 2 Diamond Field. And Brandon, and nice catch. So Marco makes a tumbling catch right on top of the grass to rob young Brandon Bartleman of a hit. And nicely done. I like what he did there. He caught the ball, and when he went into his tumble, he made sure he wasn't leaving the ball toward the grass where it could pop out on him. So nice swing by the youngster, better defensive play. And here is Kyle Schluter trying to get it to Curtis Ostrom in the top. And Kyle to center, but Marston's there, so they go 3 up, 3 down. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Joey Carbs will re-enter and take the hill. And the way Signature's been hitting the ball this week, they scored a ton of runs in Forest Park last night. Carbs has not done a bad job. So here comes Chris. His first at bat of the game. Came in for Dave Navarro. Dave tried to go, but after hurting that finger, and Dave's had a rough year. He had a meniscus problem
Atta baby, atta baby.
in his knee this time. Was just back to running full speed and trying to get into the groove a little bit, and he hurts a hand. And Bartleman, easy play in center, and that'll be out number 1. Brings up G5, Greg Fleming. Sometimes that happens. You get caught up in a year where you just can't seem to stay healthy. We've all had those kind of years. One thing about 16-inch softball, if you got finger, wrist type problems, this is a brutal game to try to play. So here's Greg Fleming.
Hold kid, hold kid.
And Fleming stays hot as he flips one into right field for a base hit.
What's up, man? Hit it lower next time. What the fuck?
So took that ball right off the carpet. Well, the scheduled start for the next game is 8:30.
Hey, roll it up.
Stay hot, Ken.
It's 8:11 right now. We're only in the 5th. And then, of course, Signature will have to walk down to the other side to play Flashback. And it looks like Flashback leading 7-3 down there. over Chicago Dynasty. And Pickle sky high. Sullivan is there.
You left
Fleming
early.
tags.
What do you mean hell no? I said you before he caught the ball. We challenge it because he definitely left early. Thank you.
And they called Fleming out for leaving early. I don't know if he left early or not. I think good job by Mike Greco selling it. And the umpire rang him up. Unconventional double play there. So we're going to head to the 6th inning. No change in score. Signature still up by 5. Top of the Hex lineup. The Straw, followed by Mark Holstein and Rob Scahill. So if you hold Signature, and again, they still got 1 at-bat left, potentially 2, if Hex can tie or take the lead. If you hold them to that 8-run range, you got to be pretty happy. But missing a couple of sticks. And Al Rice and Brian Sloan. There's a little flare, long run, but Marston gets there. And that'll be out number 1.
Well done.
No, we're going to have another game right after this. Probably 15 or 20 minutes, give or take. They played 2 games, 2 time slots, I should say. 4 games total. As you can see, there's a game going on down there. Flashback leading 7-3. You can see there's a team cutting across the field that will be playing Hex after this. There's a ground ball, and Scar will scoop that up. Actually, the flashback game is over. That's the Dynasty team walking down here for their 2nd game of the night.
Hey, best pitches right now. Let's go.
So 7-3 final down on the other diamond, flashback. And of course, that's going to be a little different over there because the wind will be blowing not to right, but out toward left, and the wind is kind of right field corner to the left field corner on that right field. So here's Scahill, 2 up, 2 down here. And there's a hard ground ball, and Scar has himself a busy inning. He's up to the task, and we head to the bottom of the 6th. So again, Hex has not played a bad ball game. They just can't get their offense on track here.
I just like throwing it to you first.
And you're not gonna Nathan, there's a kind of an AB Memorial Tournament that starts tomorrow out in Cicero at Clyde Park. The Joe Lopez Phil Coronado Memorial, run by Manny Sanchez. And there's a towering fly ball by Haas, and he's way over the top. Sullivan tracing it down. Haas is going to go ahead and score, so Signature picks up a little insurance here. As he got that up, and despite the cross breeze, got it over the top of Donnie Sullivan out there in left field. And then a week from tonight, we'll be back here at Melrose for the Midsummer Classic, run by the SSA, one of the major tournaments of the summer out here. And there's a high foul ball, and that's going to be... Did he make the catch? He did. So Donnie Sullivan sliding right by the out-of-bounds line, hit him in the midsection, popped up in the air, and he held on before he slid out of bounds for out number one. So like I said, Hex has not played a bad ball game. Their offense just has not been up to the task here. And we will start a new stream before the next game. And then, of course, 2 weeks from tonight will be the SSA Tom Egg Zarnick Class A No Glove National Championship up in Olympic Park in Schaumburg. And there's a little flare. Nick Kimmer calling it all the way, makes the catch. So we recently cracked 37,000 followers. We're getting a lot of interaction.
Come on, Joey, come on, get us in.
For the last 90 days, we're over 1.1 million views on our content. So if you got a company and you want to jump in and become a corporate partner, let us know. And we'll find a creative way to advertise your company. So it brings up Marston with 2 outs, and that ball's going to drift way foul. You can reach out to us at info@ssasoftball.com.
Come on, D.
So Signature at, I believe they're 5-0 out here in first place. They'll move to 6-0. And there's a bullet.
Oh, there you go. Bring it up.
So Marston keeps hitting. He'll get himself a double. And Flashback now, I believe, is 4-2 out here. So if you want to make a run at first place, that's an important game. You could pull within 1. And of course, they're going to have 2 post-tournament season tournaments out here. One with the gloves to get ready for the SSA Major National Championship tournament Labor Day. And Mark, right at Ostrom. And Curtis is saying that ball was knuckling. So we're going to head to a do or die 7th. Down 6. X got to score 6 to keep the game going. 7 gives him a lead. Anything less, and Signature will stay clean out here in this league. And then, of course, they'll have a secondary tournament here with no gloves. So it's kind of a unique setup. They don't have teams playing each other 2-3 times. Instead, they went, I believe, I want to say 1 time through the league, because they did pick up 2 extra teams this year, so I believe there's 12 out here. And then they got the 2 tournaments, which I believe both double elimination. And every team gets a doubleheader out here. And that's what the way they tried to schedule it. So Greco goes the other way, Fleming there, little backtrack makes it. So like I said, we'll click off. We'll start a new stream for for the next game, which will be Signature Flashback. So here's Nick Casanos. And I tell you, last night it was such a beautiful, warm night. It's almost a shock to the system when you come out tonight and all of a sudden it's cold again. So ground ball, little bobble. It's been a pretty clean game. Navarro had a couple of drops in the outfield, but he's playing with that dislocated finger. So you can't really blame him for that. He tried to gut it out. I'd be surprised if he played again in the nightcap. And Oliver, a little ground ball, and it sneaks through. Casanos will jog into third, uncontested. So with one out, runners on the corner. Brings up Nick Kimmer. Got robbed his last time by Marco in right field. And a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch. And if you ever want to re-watch any of these games, the games you see with the scoreboard and that, they go out to various places. Facebook, our YouTube channel, which is SSA Broadcast, and also our Twitter feed. But if you want to kind of just look for videos, go to that YouTube page, and they look awful pretty on your smart TV. And Kimmer slashes one Mahoney to Haas, and Scar dropped the ball, and Casanos will end up scoring. And that double play was looking pretty good, but so 2 outs, 9-4. Brings up Donnie Sullivan with Brandon Bartleman on deck.
There we go.
Confidence, Donnie. Let's go.
Pick me up, Dom. Here we go. Pick me up.
And there's a little roller over to Mahoney, and he bobbles it. So it was a very clean game, both teams, and now we got a couple of bobbles. The game getting extended here a little bit for Bartleman. Looks like Kyle is going to hit for Joey Carbs, which means he'll be out of the ball game. If we get to that point, and then of course the Hex top will be coming up. And that should have been illegal, as he never presented the ball. And Bartleman, a little roller. Scar makes that play. So Hex goes down 9-4 to Signature, who stays clean. So we're going to click off. We'll be back on in a few minutes. Come on back. Flashback Signature in about 15.